So, I mean, obviously that's more recent times, and obviously there's always a climax in someone's journey and someone's story. And I think for yours, it was kind of like when you got your real seal journeyman ticket to become an electrician. Like, I mean, that has nothing to do with what we talked about, but kind of like that's kind of where you started coming out of school. So I want you to kind of talk about what was the climax or the hurdle or the point of breaking at that point in your life to then switch and then become more into real estate, which led you to where you are right now.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to get started in, like I said, working very early, realizing that if I wanted anything, I had to work for it. So at 16, I started becoming an electrician. By the time I was 22, I was a red seal journeyman electrician here in Canada, or a master's electrician, as people might know it. And at 22, I had great leadership skills. I had a great mentor. I was running multi-million-dollar job sites. I was running crews of people. By the time I was 24, 25, I was basically like one of the top leads in the company. Me and my mentor were actually in conversations to buy my electrical contracting company. But every single day, that same mentor, my journeyman that took me under his wing, he would say to me, Randy, you have so much more potential than just being an electrician. Every single day. And I never understood why, right? I didn't understand what he saw in me. I was like, dude, I'm just climbing the ladder like anybody else is supposed to do.
Mhm.
He encouraged me to buy my first house at 25. So I was very lucky. I bought my first house at 25. And he said to me specifically, Randy, in 25 years, you'll have this thing paid off and you'll be able to retire at 50. And I was like, oh, looking at my parents, looking at my life, white picket fence, house, dog, retired at 50. That sounds perfect, right? What everyone dreams of. Unfortunately, 2 weeks after he said that to me, after I bought my house, he passed away in a job site accident. So I went from living on one of the highest of highs to all of a sudden hitting some of the lowest of lows. And he was 42 years old when he passed away. So here was a 42-year-old telling me how excited I should be about retiring at 50 when he didn't even make it to 50. That was where it was. Now there's a turning factor here. I also lost my younger brother when I was 3 years old to sudden infant death. And so I learned early on at a young age that therapy was actually good for you. I learned about how to channel some of this stuff and worked with my parents in a lot of that space. So when he passed away, I realized that I had two options in life. I could, woe is me, start getting into drugs and alcohol and ruin everything that I'd built to date. Or I could take this opportunity and say, what is the next lesson and how do I grow from this? So
Mhm.
I got a therapist 2 days after he passed away. And the therapist asked me, Randy, you need to go find something to take you away from the pain and trauma that you're feeling right now and kind of just, give you something to focus on instead of the pain that you're going through. And so I just Googled how to make a ton of money and never work again. Right. I thought, you know what, if he passed away at 42, I'm going to make sure that I have enough money to retire and I'm going to retire my whole family so they never have to work again. And that's where I found real estate investing. And I was very lucky that at 25, my parents said to me, Randy, go chase your dreams, go chase your goals. We believe in you. You have no family, no kids, and you've got a house to fall back on. Worst case scenario, you can become a journeyman electrician making the same money you were, and you're light years ahead of a lot of people. So very fortunate. My family believed in me, and I just went all in on real estate investing. I spent what little money I had on credit cards and lines of credits to learn about real estate investing. I did some really cool math where I realized, hey, if I spent $20,000 or $30,000 on education on how to go buy and flip a house, if
Mhm.
I flipped one house, I'd make $20,000 or $30,000. So why wouldn't I make that investment knowing that I was confident enough to flip that one house? And then after that, it becomes what I call an infinite return on investment on the education I learned. I spent 20 or 30,000, I made 20 or 30,000 back, but that strategy I learned and the education I got becomes an infinite ROI for any more money I make in that industry.
Mhm.
And that's just how my philosophy on life. And that's how I've continued to grow into where I am today. But that was the turning point for me, was losing my best friend and Googling how to make money and finding real estate investing as a vehicle to go build wealth in, and just not thinking twice about it and going all in on it.